In today's video, I'm talking to you about a $98,000 garnishment from Navy Federal that one of my clients is facing. Yes, you heard me, $98,000. I am Karen, your ex-banker next door, and currently I help people that want to get out of debt and improve their credit and finances. So stay tuned. What is a garnishment? A garnishment is simply when you've defaulted on a loan and a company or a bank that you defaulted with, they will seize your bank accounts or they will go to your employment and seize 25% of your gross savings. I'm sorry, your gross income. So when you're facing these garnishments, they can really have you panicking and not knowing what to do. I'm just going to give you this guy's story and then I'm going to get into how to help yourself if you are facing garnishment or if you know someone that is facing it too. Anyway, it started when the guy was working. He was working for, I don't know, a trucking company or something, right? And he got fired. However, he racked up 3 credit cards with Navy Federal. Two of them were for 25,000. Another one was for 10,000. So that's really $60,000, right? So he defaulted on the loan. A year later, they wanted to serve him. However, he didn't answer the door. So he was never served, right? So 4 years later, he gets money under the table. When I say get money under the table, he's getting paid through landscaping. And so he developed a landscaping business. So for 4 years, he had a landscaping business, not knowing that 60,000 was growing at the tune of 18%. Because Navy Federal, their percentages are not, the interest rates are not that high, but they're still high when it comes to credit cards. So it was growing every year for 18%, right? So the landscaping business got a little bit too slow for him and he wanted to have more concrete money. So he went not back into trucking, but he just got a regular job. So when he got a regular job, 3 years on that regular job, he gets a knock on his door from his employer that says, "You've been garnished." Now, he was not served, but just because he was not served does not mean that he didn't still owe it. So when he got the papers, it said $98,000. So when he's reading the letters and he's showing me the letters, it's saying that it has accrued all of these years at 18%, and it's now $98,000. So he's calling me to ask me what to do. First off, because he was never served, he can go to the local county clerk's office in his hometown and he can dispute the fact that he was never served and they can remove the garnishment. However, he still owes it. So the judge is not going to let him get away with not paying something on it. So that was the first thing I told him he had to do. He could go to the county clerk, or he could call the Navy Federal lawyers and ask them if there was a negotiation. Okay. So the first thing he did was he called them instead of just going down there first and telling them, "Hey, y'all didn't really serve me, so why am I being, you know, held for this?" He didn't do that one first. He first called them and tried to negotiate. They told him that Navy is not going to remove the garnishment for payment because you had all of these years to pay us. So no, we're not going to remove the garnishment. That was calling. So then he called the courts and he was like, "I was never served." And they said, "Okay, you were never served. Yes, you can fight that. However, do you still owe the 98,000?" So He responded yes. Then they said you can have a motion to slow pay. Now, what is a motion to slow pay? A motion to slow pay means that the courts, the judge may remove the garnishment due to hardship, right? And the hardship, whatever hardship, you put it in the letter for saying that your slow motion is to say, I can only afford $200 and they're trying to take 25% of my finances, my gross finances, my income that's coming in. And you can have that motion written up in Chat GPT. So I did the Chat GPT for him and I sent it over to him. He printed it and he just put his case number because that was the letter that he got from his employer. Just write the case number and you sign it, right? So he took it to the courts because they told him to take it to the courts to have the slow motion, which means the judge can possibly um, decline it or they can adhere to it, bring them to a hearing. Oh, and that's when he can tell them I was never served, so they can, have the garnishment removed because he was never served. And or the other thing is the judge would just grant him the $200 that he would be responsible for paying, but not through the garnishment where they're just taking it from his income. So that's it. That's what you do. Do not ignore it, okay? Because it can easily get bigger because it's already at 98,000 from 60,000. I think he said maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So from 60,000 to 98,000 at 18% interest, that's what it's growing. You don't want to ignore that. Now, I have heard people say, well, why wouldn't you tell him to file a chapter 7 or chapter 13? Chapter 7 will probably be the best bet. That's not something that I ever recommend, a chapter 7 or chapter 13, only because of personal issues. My parents they filed two bankruptcies, and I just saw what it did to the incomes. I heard the conversations. So I'm never going to outwardly recommend for anyone to file bankruptcy. That is something that you would want to kind of get in your gut and, calculate yourself, think through yourself to file that bankruptcy. Because the thing about a bankruptcy is, yes, is a quick fix, right? It will remove the garnishment. You still have to pay something. It does have a clean slate. You might have a 3 to 5 year payment to the bankruptcy lawyer, but overall, it's on your credit report for so many years. 7 years, I think, for chapter 7, and I think it's like 10 years for the 13. I have to look to make sure those years are exact. However, there are a lot of years. And then the thing that I have seen that a lot of my clients face with filing bankruptcy is even when your income really improves, and I'm talking about to the tune of, let's say you make $300,000 now, you got that bankruptcy on your report and you want to get a house, you would actually qualify for a $500,000 home. But because that bankruptcy is on your credit report, they may look at that and say, no, we just want to give him 200,000. Where are you gonna get a house for 200 some thousand? It's got to be a fixer upper. You got to get, some stuff in there to change it out. But if you want to move in ready, a turnkey, that's going to be very hard. So think really hard if you're trying to really file bankruptcy in this. Talk to a bankruptcy attorney. Let them know or let them tell you what your options really are. Don't just go in blind thinking that, oh, okay, I'm gonna be straight for now. Yes, you're gonna have the clean slate. Yes, it's going to be an immediate fix, but there is a long term, and I'm talking about to the tune of 7 to 10 years, where that can be a financial heartbreak or damage. A lot of rich people file bankruptcy, but guess what? They're rich. They can pay cash for stuff. If you're a middle class, you make $60,000 a year, that might not be an option that you want to take. But hey, if you're like, screw it, then that's up to you. However, I want you to make sure you're knowing exactly what you're facing when you do or if you do want to file bankruptcy. But overall, these are the things that I told him to do. Get the slow pay motion, or if you feel like the garnishment is okay, then allow it to continue to come out. But the most important advice I can say is to get it settled. If your bankrupt, I'm sorry, if your garnishment amount is way less than 98,000, say it's 4, 5, 10, 20,000, but you can settle that, because even when you're late so many years, a company will settle that for you to the tune of sometimes 50 to 65% of what you owe. So if you owe 10,000 on something, they could easily settle it for 5,000 or lower. So my first option would be, if you can't afford it, the slow pay. But if you can settle it, then settle the account. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in my next video.